Good day everyone. Today we will be discussing the most commonly used functions in Microsoft Excel. Some of which are, we have the max, min, average, count, sum, if function, these are conditional functions, count if function, and the average if function. We have here a question to deal with. How many students took their exams in creative writing, FP, EIM, and trends? To compute that, we use the function count. Again, don't forget equal sign. Count. Count function counts only cells with numerical values. It doesn't count any cell with letters. Count, then let us look for creative writing. It will count all the scores for creative writing, which are composed of numerical data. And close it with a parenthesis, enter. That means there are 18 scores or test takers for creative writing. How about FP? The same, equals count. How many students took exams for FP? Enter. 9. There are 9 students. EIM equals count EIM. And lastly, trends equals count. So that's how count functions work. Okay? It just counts the values that are present in a range of cells. There you go. So FP has 9 test takers, EIM 10, and trends 18. Another question. How many male students are in grade XX? In this column, M/F, it was coded in a way that the number 1 represents the male, number 2 represents the female. But I don't like codes. I want to write the term male for student A and the term female for student V or W. Okay? In this column, we use the if function to do that. No? So don't forget, golden rule, always put your equal sign. If this cell is equal to 1, then it must be a male. Put close quotation. Otherwise, represented by comma, it is quotation again, female. Then enclose it with a parenthesis. Now, when we are entering letters or words in our formula, we need to enclose them with a quotation mark. Okay? Press enter. There you go. If this is equal to 1, then it is male. If it is equal to 2, then it should be female. Let's check. Let us now drag the lower right corner of the cell down to the last student. There you go. Let's verify. 2. Student W must be a female. Student F must be a male because it is equal to 1. There you go. Another way to do that, also using the if function, equals if this cell is equal to 2, then what? It must be labeled as female, right? Otherwise, it is a male. Okay? Press enter. There you go. Male. Verified by male. Drag this to the last student. There. So, tama ba? Male, 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 the same result. It will yield the same result. Another So instead of typing male or female in your formula, you can also use a cell as a reference for your formula. For example, I already wrote male in here, male, female, and I will use these two cells as a reference for my formula. So equals if B9 this cell is equal to 1, then it must be male, diba? So instead of writing the word male, I just clicked the cell with the word male in it. Otherwise, female, and close it with a parenthesis, click enter. Now we have a problem here. If I drag this one, it does not produce the same result as the first two formula. Why is that? Because our reference also moves when we drag our formula down to the last student. What do I mean? Notice this formula, F2. Our references are P6 and P7. But when I go down, if we go down a bit, the reference changes, right? It's no longer P6 and P7. If I go a little farther, there, that is the reference. So what should we do? We must convert this into an absolute reference. That means when we drag this cell down to the last student, our reference will still be P6 and P7. Now to do that, go to your formula, go back to your formula. For other laptops, you can highlight this and press F4. It will automatically anchor your reference cells. You will see the $sign appear before the letter and the number of the cell. Or if your laptop cannot do the F4, you can do it manually. You can insert the $sign manually, okay? Let's do it. Before P, insert a $sign. Before 5, insert $sign. Before P, $sign. Before 6, $sign. Press enter. We are now ready to drag the lower right corner of the cell down to the last cell. So, going back to our questions, how many male students are there in grade XX? Can we now count the male students? Yes. We can use the function COUNTIF equals COUNTIF. Select the range you want to count. COUNTIF, comma, open quotation, COUNTIF male. So this function will count only the cells with the term male in it. Enter. So there are 12 male students in grade XX. On the other hand, do it for females. Equals COUNTIF. Select the range you want to count, comma. We call this a syntax, okay? This will be your guide. So we have selected the range already. Then the next is to insert the comma. And then what's the criteria? We are looking for, don't forget your quotation marks, the female. Okay, press enter. So there are 12 male and 25 female examinees in grade XX. We have another problem to deal with. we are to find the average of the scores that are less than 25. For that, we use the function average if plus average if. Select the range. The syntax says range. Select the range, average if, range, then the next is the criteria, comma, if the scores are less than 25. So the criteria is less than 25. And close it with a quotation, and then enclose it with a parenthesis. That means if the scores are less than 25, Excel will take the average of all the scores that are lesser than 25. Let's do this for the rest of the subjects. Simple. How about the average of the scores that are greater than 25? The same but different criteria. Equals average if, then select the range, comma, the criteria is greater than 25, and close it with a parenthesis,